Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am here to share two latest chapters of my fan fiction that is a standalone story from Uncle Chandler I Love You called The Five Musketeers, The Adventures of Jennie, Lane, Paris, Savannah, and Rory. I decided to write this fan fiction because in Uncle Chandler, I Love You, it's mostly focused on Jennie's relationship with Chandler and Monica, but there are no other kids her age in the story, so I decided to write this Gilmore Girls crossover so she could have more of a relationship with people her own age. So the original characters are obviously my self-insert, Jennifer Ava Milius, and her cousin Savannah, who is Richard Burke's granddaughter. And then we have our usual suspects from Gilmore Girls. Rory Gilmore, who was played by Alexis Bledel. Lane Kim, who is played by Kiko Agana. And Paris Geller, who is played by Liza Wheel. So how I decided to connect Friends to Gilmore Girls is, Paris is the second cousin to Chandler, to Ross and Monica, because their father, Jack, is cousins with Paris's grandfather, who doesn't appear at all in the show. This first chapter I'm sharing today is called Cultural Differences, and it's based off of two Thanksgiving episodes. The Friends episode from season 9, the one with Rachel's other sister, and the season 3 Gilmore Girls episode, a deep fried Korean Thanksgiving. Growing up around adults, it comes as quite a systematic shock when you get invited to Thanksgiving by someone your own age. I had been to Thanksgiving dinner at Central Park Apartments for the past 5 years, but this year it will be different. One day after school, Auntie Monica picked me up with a big smile on her face, the kind of smile that I knew meant she had exciting news for me. Sweetie, I know you always have fun in New York with us at Thanksgiving, but would you like to go to Stars Hollow this year? My eyes grew wide. I love spending Thanksgiving with Mama and her friends, but the idea of getting to spend the day with kids my own age just seems like it could be a lot of fun. Wow, are we going to have dinner with Paris and her family? Actually, Mrs. Kim called me up. She and Lane would like to invite you to their house. Are you coming too? Auntie Monica sighed. Rachel's family is coming to Thanksgiving, and she promised them I'd make my usual Friendsgiving meal. We both rolled our eyes. Rachel had definitely grown over the past few years, but she could still be really entitled. I figure you spending Thanksgiving with the Kims will give you an easy out. I noticed that you sometimes are uncomfortable around Amy. I nodded. Rachel's sister and I had only met a few times, but we really didn't get along. Yeah, she doesn't really understand my disability and my issues with fine motor skills. I definitely want to go to Lane's house instead. Can I sleep over with her too? I had never slept over a friend's house before. Yes, Mrs. Kim arranged it, so we could even spend a little extra time with Rory and Paris the next day. I'll pick you up that evening. My smile was a mile wide. I can't wait. Thank you so much for letting me go. When I got home, the first thing that I did was call Lane. I could practically see my... She picked up right away. Hey, Jen, are you coming to Thanksgiving? Yes, I am. Thank you so much for inviting me. I could practically see my friend smiling through the phone. You are so welcome. Who's going to be there? I get anxious meeting new people, so I wanted to be prepared. Oh, the usual crowd. Also, her voice took on a more conspirational tone. I met a boy at church who's going to be playing music for us. I think you'll like him. What's his name? David. Is he your boyfriend? Not quite. I wanted all the details, but I could tell by her voice that this conversation would have to wait until we saw each other in person. Not only was I going to get my first sleepover, but we were going to talk about boys. It was so cliche and I loved it. I can't wait to meet him. What do you want me to bring to dinner? Oh, you don't have to bring anything. It's all going to be Korean food, so her voice trailed off. I'd really like to bring something. You don't think that Monica could make Korean food? We're culture here in New York City. Yeah, you're right. She laughed. Hey, see if you can make some chapchai. My aunt used to make it every year before she moved, but I have missed having it. No offense, but Monica's chapchai is going to blow your aunt out of the water. Just one question. Yeah? What is chapchai? Stir-fry noodles. She laughed. Sounds good. See you soon. Love you. Love you too, Jen. I arrived at the house weighed down with stir-fry in overnight bags. Layton's family was polite when they saw the chapchai, but when they actually tasted it, I could tell that Auntie Monica and I had done a great job. Her cousins even went back for seconds. I got to meet David, and when he played the violin for us, he was really talented, and I could definitely see why she had a crush on him. He came up to talk to me, but I purposely kept my answers short and bland. I wasn't about to botch my first sleepover by breaking the number one rule of girl code. Later that night, Lane and I got into our pajamas and settled in for the night. She let me sleep in her bed, and she took a sleeping bag on the floor. This was such a great Thanksgiving. Thank you again for having me, I told her, too overjoyed to play it cool. Me too. Tomorrow, we'll do some Black Friday shopping with Rory in Paris. So think about what stores you want to go to. That will be so fun. I beamed at the idea of going shopping with friends. It was such a simple, normal thing, but after losing my parents, normalcy was still something I craved so much. Do you know how grateful I am for you? Thank you, Lane replied, clearly at a loss for words after my outburst. Tears were in my eyes. I've spent the past 8 Thanksgivings with my uncle, aunt, and their friends. I love them all dearly, but this is just the kind of bonding I need with people my own age. Sometimes it gets pretty lonely for me. Lane joined me on the bed and wrapped me in a hug. I love you so much, Jen, and I'll always be here for you. I love you too. The next chapter is called A Wild Adventure, and it's based off of Season 9, Episode 20, the one with the soap opera party, is Season 3, Episode 9, Cake Max. This chapter deals with underage drinking. Please proceed with caution. My cell phone buzzed when I was doing my homework on a Wednesday night in May. I saw Rory's name on the caller ID screen, and I smiled, grateful for a distraction. Hey, Jen, guess what? What? Lane's band is playing a house party this weekend. Can you and Savannah come down to Stars Hollow? I hesitated. My Uncle Joey is having a party with his soap opera co-stars. I'm not sure if we can. Check with your folks and call me back. Please, I haven't seen you in so long. I agreed to try, then hung up and left my room to find Uncle Chandler in the kitchen. Dinner's about ready, honey. Who's on the phone? My toe dug into the carpet. Rory. He must have picked up on my anxious tone because he said, is everything all right? Yeah, she was inviting me and Savvy to a house concert Lane is playing. I'd really love to go. Do I have to stay here this weekend for Uncle Joey's fancy party? I'll be so bored. He nodded. Go have a fun time with your friends, baby girl. I promise to get you something autographed for your collection. Thank you so much, Daddy. I wrapped my arms around him. He was so close with his own friends. I knew he'd understand. He rubbed my back gently. I love you too. Be safe, okay? I promise. Savannah and I got out of school earlier than usual on Friday to catch the 1:15 bus to Stars Hollow. Lorelai met us at the bus station and put her arms around us. How are my favorite girls? I hugged her back. Hi, Miss Gilmore. We're great. Savannah nodded. We're so excited for Lane's concert, even though Rory's roped us into helping set up the equipment. Lorelai smiled. I'm so glad you are all getting this time together before she starts college. We're going to miss coming here to visit, I whispered. Tears were starting to fill my eyes. I couldn't help myself. Lorelai's lips grazed my forehead. Honey, don't cry. Tell you what, I'll let your parents know whenever I go visit Rory so you can come with me, all right? I leaned my head on her shoulder. Thank you. You're welcome. Come on. Rory's meeting us at Luke's. Let's go get some food. The next day at the concert, I was a little anxious when I noticed the host cousin bought a whole keg of beer. Rory could sense I was nervous. You know that we're not allowed to have that stuff, right? I nodded. Are you going to tell your mom? I exhaled. She's going to make us leave. Yeah, we should just stay away from wherever the keg is set up. During intermission, I noticed that Lane was hanging around a keg. She seemed more chatty and friendly than usual, especially with the boys who were hanging around her. I'm just going to go check on Lane, okay? I told Savannah and walked toward her. She flung her arms around a cute boy, and they both turned to look at me. Jennie, this is Josh, she informed me, her speech slightly slurred. He is so cool. He's the house cousin. Hi, I mumbled, always a little tongue-tied when cute boys were involved. Let me get you some, he offered. Before I could refuse, there was a cup of beer in my hand. I stared at it for a second before taking a sip. Maybe it would make me less shy with him. Maybe it would make me more chatty and fun like Lane. I swallowed and tried to hide the disgust on my face. Thanks. We were interrupted by a scuffle and noticed that Dean and Jess were fighting. What a disaster, I muttered. Crash. Jess and Dean's bodies smashed through the window next to the front door. Rory bounded up next to me, Savvy in tow. Savvy, Jennie, we're leaving. I'm going to call my mom, okay? She stared at the cups and lanes in my hands. How many dreams have you fucking had? Out of my way, I'm going to puke, Lane demanded, pushing herself out of Josh's arms and toward a potted plant. Rory looked at me. She didn't have it. Did you have anything? She gave me one. I didn't even finish it. Rory groaned. Mom is never going to let you guys visit me at Yale. Dump your drinks. The cops are on the way. This party is going to get busted. I touched her shoulder. Rory, why are Dean and Jess fighting? My friend had tears in her eyes. When I tried to ask Jess why he was so moody, he tried to force himself on me. Dean saw me crying when I was coming down the stairs, and he was trying to protect me. That's why I want to go home. This night has been a disaster. What about the band's equipment? I'm sure the cops will help them get it home. Call Mom, okay? I'm going to go check on Lane. Rory had been right about one thing. The night had been a disaster. Uncle Chandler and Auntie Monica met us at the bus station when we got home the next day. When we got back to the Central Park apartments, Uncle Tim and Aunt Izzy were waiting for us. We need to have a serious talk with the two of you, Aunt Izzy said. I gulped. What about? Savannah asked. Uncle Chandler cleared his throat. Mrs. Kim called us up while you guys were out shopping and told us that Lane got shit-faced at that party last night. She is not pleased with her at all. I nodded. We tried to get her to stop Uncle Chandler because we knew she had a performance to complete. Savannah squeezed my hand. Lane gave beer to us, Uncle Chandler. Concerned clouded his eyes. You promised me that you would not drink, Jennifer. You didn't get drunk, did you? I shook my head. No, sir. We each took one sip of our drinks and dumped them down a drain. They tasted so bad. Auntie Monica squeezed my shoulder. You could have said no. We tried, Auntie Monica. Lane was so rude and belligerent. She pressured us into it. Tears were in my eyes. Aunt Izzy got up from her seat and wrapped the two of us in a hug. Everything is all right now. We are happy you are safe. Is Lane okay? Savannah whispered. Uncle Tim cleared his throat. She is going to be fine. Do either of you have any idea why she'd get so drunk? She would want to get drunk so horribly in the first place. Some guy she was dating wants to go to prom with her, but she wants to break up with him to go with David instead. Uncle Tim sighed. I'm not sure Lane is still going to prom. She is currently going to be grounded for at least 5 days. Are we getting grounded too? Savannah whispered. Uncle Tim nodded. Yes. Are you going to allow us to visit Rory at college? I whispered. Uncle Chandler squeezed my hand. Nothing will impact that, honey. I promise. Rory seemed to not be involved in the drinking, so we trust her to be responsible. So we can't hang out with Lane anymore? I was shaking. We still want to support her music, Savannah said. Auntie Monica pulled me close to her. Honey, your friendship with Lane will not end because of one mistake that she made. Do you promise? I do. When Mrs. Kim called, she told me that Lane's sorry. Give her a call, okay? I dabbed at my eyes. Okay. Uncle Tim kissed Savannah's head gently. Let's get you home, our little thrill seeker. You have school in the morning. Savannah nodded. Okay, Daddy. My cell phone buzzed in my purse. Hello, it's me, Rory. I answered, Hey, we're home safely. What's up? My face went pale. She's going to be okay, right? Aunt Izzy patted my shoulder gently. Is this about Lane, honey? I nodded. What's the matter? She got alcohol poisoning and had to get her stomach pumped. She's gotten taken away from the party in an ambulance and had to stay overnight for observation. Auntie Monica looked confused. Is she home now? She must be. I nodded. Rory said Miss Gilmore picked her up at noontime and took her home. So please let me know what you think of this story. The next 2 chapters I'm going to be working on are about Paris and Rory's graduation from Chilton and spring break and Savannah and Jennie's prom. So thank you for tuning in and have a great day. Bye.